So, apparently Joe Rogan has the most popular podcast on Spotify, and he's repeatedly spread COVID misinformation and invited guests on to do the same.
From Walter Cronkite, basically, to this guy, Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes in dragons? He believes in dragons.
Did you triple force that?
Yes, I did. And he also thinks that dragons, I guess like dinosaur type of animals, roamed the earth when people did. That's why people like our show, because they know that we are checked by ABC News.
But we're checked by everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if we're wrong, we have, the legal note here.
Human legal.
Worried about losing your job, and you're worried about podcasts taking over, and who's the source of news, and we said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us, and he won, and this is and Joe Rogan believes in dragons.
I don't know these people.
Hey, this is the most important part. This is right after she was saying, we are run by ABC News. You should trust us, not Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. So she by saying we should trust them because they're double checked by ABC News, and then making the stupidest statement. Like, you didn't listen to what I said.
Yeah.
You didn't listen to what the wildlife biologist, and that's only a part of what he said.
I can't believe
the other
Joy
part of what he
Behar
said
didn't
was
weigh.
there was something before that where he was explaining encounters with giant reptiles.
Joe Rogan is done playing nice, and he's coming for The View with a $100 million lawsuit that's shaking Hollywood to its core. Picture this, Joe Rogan chilling in his podcast studio, sipping his weird mushroom tea, vibing with a neuroscientist or maybe an MMA legend. Just another day in Rogan land. His podcast? Still #1 on Spotify. Millions tune in. He's basically the king of unfiltered talk. But then, boom, out of nowhere, The View decides to come for him. Yes, The View, Whoopi, Joy, and the gang go full blast on national TV, throwing shade like they've got a personal vendetta. And let's just say, Joe did not take that lightly. Sources say he's fired back with a jaw-dropping $100 million defamation lawsuit, claiming the ladies went way too far. Now the internet's divided, Team Rogan or Team View. And get this, insiders are whispering this could be the biggest celebrity media war of the year. Think courtroom drama, media takedowns, and explosive secrets, Mr. Pierce style. So what did The View say that pushed Joe over the edge? And could this lawsuit actually bankrupt the iconic daytime show? Grab your popcorn, because this celeb feud is just getting started. Stay tuned, I've got all the messy details coming up next.
With that show is that show has this very specific ideological bubble in which they operate in, and they always bring on a token conservative woman and they yell over her and silence her, and they did that with Meghan McCain, and they did that with what is that other blonde woman from Survivor? Do you remember her, Jamie? She was always yelling. I mean, it's a bizarre show.
But hold up, it wasn't just a little shady comment. The View didn't just throw some side eye at Joe Rogan, they went full on savage. On live TV right in front of millions. Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and Whoopi Goldberg sat at that glossy table of theirs and ripped into Rogan like he was the villain of the week. They called him out for spreading dangerous misinformation, but get this, they also claimed Joe believes in dragons. Yeah, dragons, like medieval, fire-breathing fantasy creatures. You can't make this stuff up. This wasn't light banter, or some throwaway joke. This was The View turning Joe's name into a punchline, and they meant every word. No smirks, no irony, just full-on daytime TV roasting session. And now, with this $100 million lawsuit on the table, Rogan's clapping back hard, saying he's done being everyone's favorite punching bag. The battle lines are drawn. The question is, did The View finally go too far? Stick around, because what's coming next might just explode the daytime TV world.
Joe Rogan here. Did you see Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons, I guess? According to Joy Behar, he changed his X profile. Did you see this?
I did see that.
It now just simply says dragon believer. He had talked about dragons on the show. It's the thing of it is, you take anything out of context and you can make fun of it and mock it. And so let's do that. It goes without saying. Joe Rogan How many times more intelligent do you think Joe Rogan is than Joy Behar?
Oh, they didn't stop there. The View went straight for the jugular. They trashed Rogan's credibility, mocked his millions of fans, and took his quotes so far out of context. It was basically a hit job. It wasn't just some daytime snark. It felt strategic, like they planned to humiliate him live on air. And guess what? Joe didn't laugh it off. He didn't roll his eyes and move on. He lawyered up fast, and now he's dropping a bomb, a $100 million defamation lawsuit that's shaking ABC and the View crew to their core. We're talking legal warfare, big money, public takedown. This isn't just a feud, it's a full-blown media reckoning, and for the first time, The View might have met their match. Coming up, the exact moment that made Joe snap, and why. This lawsuit could set a brand new standard in celebrity media drama. Don't go anywhere. Mr. Peer has all the receipts.
People want us divided, and they aren't just here in this country. They're foreign adversaries who are infiltrating our social media because it is prudent for us to stay that way. So when you see something that really pisses you off, you should triple check that one.
The bad information that's going out
Well,
there.
in defense, there are some really
But
good
it's possible that Donald Trump did roam the earth when dinosaurs were here.
There are some really good news kind of influencer types, and I think it's great that they're getting information about global and current events in front of younger people who maybe don't tune into traditional media. But to Sarah's point, there has to be some fact-checking and actually verification of the things that are shared, because I spend a lot of time on Instagram Reels, and I'm served up things that I get outraged about, and then I realize, oh, that's not even true.
Now this lawsuit, it's not just some slap on the wrist. It's the kind of legal grenade that doesn't just sting, it shakes entire networks. Quick pause before we dive deeper into the chaos. If you're into celebrity smackdowns, shocking lawsuits, and the real stories behind the headlines, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Mr. Peer. It helps us bring you even more explosive content daily. Alright, back to the madness. So here's where things get even messier. The View didn't just mock Joe Rogan's beliefs, they tried to rewrite his entire image, painting him as some dangerous, delusional voice with zero credibility. And guess who led the charge? Joy Behar. She went off on live TV, repeating not once but multiple times that Joe Rogan believes in dragons. Yes, dragons. Again, like that somehow proves he's unhinged. But it didn't stop there. Sunny Hostin jumped in, acting like she had files, receipts, and hard evidence. She even claimed she triple-checked it like she was breaking. Watergate. It wasn't just a diss, it was a takedown attempt. And now, Rogan's firing back with lawyers, headlines, and one of the biggest celebrity lawsuits we've seen in years. Coming up next, what Joe's legal team is saying and how ABC might already be sweating behind the scenes.
Do you see what Whoopi Goldberg said?
What'd she say?
Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail. You just need to see how unhinged this kind of thinking is. Well, you know what Joe Biden could do? Joe Biden, you have to see it because it's so
on TV.
crazy.
She said
on television.
You know, just let's look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has all those rights. He is immune from everything.
Yeah.
You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president?
What?
Whoa. He could throw every Republican in jail.
And if you thought things couldn't get any wilder, wait till you hear what Whoopi Goldberg said. Because this took the whole thing to another level. On live national TV, Whoopi starts spinning this wild scenario, talking about how Joe Biden could literally arrest every Republican and throw them in jail. No joke. She said it like she was reading from a playbook. And then, in this bizarre, totally straight-faced delivery, she says, well, let's just say the Supreme Court says Biden's immune from everything. Then technically, he could just lock them all up. What? And the craziest part? Whoopi's nodding the whole time like she just dropped some presidential truth bomb, while the others on The View look on like it's a breaking expose. No laughs, no sarcasm, they meant it. And the vibe, total smug courtroom energy, like they were handing out a real Supreme Court ruling live on air. But here's the twist that really shows the setup. What Joe Rogan was never even there. He wasn't a guest. He didn't call in. He didn't even tweet at them. They just dragged him out of nowhere. mocked him, twisted his words, called him dangerous, and then acted like he was part of the conversation. And now, that $100 million lawsuit makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? Coming up, Joe's team drops a fiery statement, and legal experts are saying The View might have just walked straight into their own PR disaster.
And I agree that Joe Rogan is a horror. A horror.
I mean, I'm not saying that Joe Rogan should be removed from Spotify. He's got 11 million listeners.
then
He's
what-
got a
what are you
$100
saying
million, contract as of 2020. But I do think as the podcast platform, you have to have some sort of guidelines. How about a disclaimer on his podcast that says,
That's fine.
this is misinformation.
So here's the real kicker. Joe Rogan wasn't even bothering anyone. He was just minding his own business, chilling in his studio, doing what he does best. But suddenly, The View turns him into the main course at their gossip buffet. No facts, no citations, just bold, reckless claims blasted out to millions, turning Joe into their punching bag. And here's the thing, this isn't just some petty mean girl drama, this is defamation, plain and simple, and that's why Rogan didn't just roll his eyes. He came back swinging with that $100 million lawsuit, not just to clear his name, but to protect his business. Because here's the truth, those kinds of statements don't just ruin reputations, they can tank entire careers. Think about it, sponsorships, contracts, his massive $200 million Spotify deal on the line. This wasn't about dragons. This wasn't about jokes. This was about damage. Real financial damage. Now it's The View who might be facing the fallout from this legal bombshell. And trust me, this battle isn't over yet.
But arguably, like, the real fans of The View that are like, oh, these ladies are on point. Most of those people can't leave the house. Like, they're probably immobile.
Right. Because their mom's taking their kids to school, and that's, yeah.
It's a very strange show, but it's fun to watch. It's just fun to watch them.
It's good entertainment.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Well, they're just, it's interesting because I think Sunny is very intelligent, but she's ideologically captured.
Right.
That's sort of, I think the other ones, there's a couple of the other ones, don't have to name any names, are just very dull-minded.
Just like that, The View, the show that prides itself on calling out everyone else, is now being called out in the biggest way possible, in court. Yup, you heard that right. The ladies of The View, who love throwing shade and playing the media game, have now found themselves on the receiving end of one of the most intense legal smackdowns of the year. And let me tell you, this isn't some PR stunt. Joe Rogan didn't just send them a pink glittery cease and desist. Nope. His legal team came through guns blazing with hard receipts, documents, timestamps, transcripts, everything to back up their claims. This wasn't some shady rumor war. This was cold, hard evidence. And now, The View isn't sipping coffee in the morning sunshine. They're scrambling for lawyers, trying to figure out how they got caught in this mess. The question is, can they get out of this one, or is this the start of a massive media reckoning for ABC?
The show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true.
They get so much hate watching and hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean, it is a rabies infested hen house.
And at the same time, it seemed like the most interesting part was their audience seemed to be on my side.
Yes.
And that's their audience.
Yes. Well, their audience is not really their audience. Their audience is a group of people they bring in to watch television shows.
They didn't just file a lawsuit. Joe Rogan brought the full arsenal. Every accusation made by The View was dissected, compared with actual facts, and laid out like a courtroom PowerPoint presentation. That dragon comment, it didn't just sit there. It was highlighted, turned into the centerpiece of a massive misinformation breakdown. Piece by piece, claim by claim, Joe's legal team picked it apart like a legal expert showing how misinformation works. There was no room for interpretation. This was a slam dunk. They came to win. What The View did wasn't a simple oops, my bad. Oh no, when you accuse someone of intentionally spreading misinformation on a platform as massive as ABC, you better have your receipts. Guess what? They didn't. They were holding opinions wrapped in sarcasm and smugness, thinking that somehow gave them legal immunity. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. And as the lawsuit unfolded, the panic behind the scenes at ABC News was palpable. Emergency meetings were called. Disney execs were dragged into the conversation. This wasn't just a careless remark anymore. It was a full-blown legal disaster. And deep down, everyone involved knew the truth. They messed up.
I had to read the thing about The View because I just thought it was funny.
What's the
That's the
View?
only reason why I read that about me.
Dragon lover.
The
All right, tell me
Joy
what this is.
Behar was trying to say that I believe in dragons.
Wait, what is this? I just
She
heard
said,
about
I
it.
checked it. I checked it. And the lady goes, did you double check this? She goes, I checked it. He believes in dragons.
Should be like
you think they lived
Sasquatch,
alongside of
bitch.
people?
And Joe Rogan had to stop and laugh at the whole thing. He was like, wait, what? They're really trying to say I believe in dragons? Can you believe that? He's just minding his business when The View throws this wild claim out there. And it wasn't just a slip of the tongue. No, Joy. Behar wasn't just joking. She's on air, acting like she's just discovered the next big conspiracy, saying, I checked it. Then Sunny Hostin chimes in, nervously asking, did you double check it? And Joy's like, I checked it. He believes in dragons. Dragons, not even a metaphor, actual fire-breathing flying creatures. You cannot throw wild accusations at someone with a global platform, a loyal army of fans, and a legal team sharper than a scalpel, and expect to walk away untouched. Now imagine this, Joy Behar, looking completely stunned, Sunny Hostin, nervously choosing her words mid-episode, Whoopi Goldberg, suddenly realizing the daytime drama she just created might be a legal landmine about to explode. This wasn't just about Joe Rogan getting mad. This was about consequences. And for the first time, the consequences were finally catching up with a show that's been skating on the edge for years. The View has made a name for itself by dishing out bold opinions, hot takes, and aggressive commentary, especially when it comes to public figures they don't like. They've built their entire brand on unfiltered conversation and controversy. But what they didn't expect, Joe Rogan coming back with a $100 million lawsuit and a legal team ready to expose every flaw in their narrative.
Why doesn't The View have any trans women on it?
Great point. It has a lot of women that look trans, but none of them. It has a lot of second and third takes. After a drink, you'd go, huh? But it doesn't have a ton of, yeah.
Let's dive into something that's getting wild. Imagine this, Joe Rogan minding his business, sipping his tea, doing his thing. His podcast is the biggest in the world, $100 million Spotify deal, millions of loyal listeners. Then bam, The View goes after him. Not just a casual joke, no, they hit hard, mocking his credibility, tossing around claims he believes in dragons, and calling him a threat to public safety. But that's not where the madness ends. Joe Rogan, he doesn't sit back and take it. No, he fights back, and he fights back with a $100 million lawsuit. I know what you're thinking, what's the big deal? It's just TV. But trust me, this isn't just some celebrity gossip anymore. The View just messed with the wrong guy, and now they're getting hit where it hurts. Here's where it gets even juicier. The View didn't just mock Joe's beliefs, they painted him as dangerous, someone spreading misinformation. Joy Behar said it multiple times. Joe believes in dragons like it was some proof of him being unhinged, and Sunny Hostin backed her up with no facts, acting like she had hard evidence. Whoopi Goldberg jumped in too, adding fuel to the fire with her own brand of wild statements. They thought this was just another segment for their gossip table. But guess what? They were wrong. Joe didn't flinch. He didn't yell, didn't panic. He calmly picked apart their accusations on his own podcast in front of millions and hit back harder than anyone expected. Rogan didn't just clap back. He did it with receipts, mocking them with no mercy. He changed his Twitter bio to Dragon Believer just to show how ridiculous their claim was. And as Rogan was confidently mocking the claims, The View, suddenly, looking like they had been caught red-handed, tried to backpedal. Joy Behar's face said it all. Sunny tried to throw out legal jargon mid-show, like she was about to become a courtroom expert. And Whoopi? She was scrambling for an excuse, hiding. Behind her, it's just our opinion defense. But guess what? Opinions don't get you off the hook when you're broadcasting to millions. Those opinions started destroying reputations and sabotaging careers. The View may have thought they were untouchable, but Joe Rogan wasn't just going to let this slide. This lawsuit, it's not just about protecting his name. It's about protecting his empire, his reputation, and his business deals. When you've got a $200 million Spotify contract on the line, even unfounded claims about you being dangerous can wreck deals. Sponsors run for the hills, and your business partners get nervous. And now, the real kicker, The View in there. Media empire aren't laughing anymore. This isn't a quick PR stunt. The lawsuit is backed by documents, transcripts, and hard proof. Their claims were shredded in court, and now they're scrambling for lawyers. Disney's team? Yeah, they've been panicking. You think a corporate giant like Disney would just brush this off? No, now they're questioning if this could cost them millions. Meanwhile, Rogan's legal team, they aren't playing. They went in with a full arsenal, breaking down every false claim piece by piece. And the internet? It's exploding. Reddit is full of legal breakdowns, Twitter is on fire, and YouTube? People are loving this courtroom drama. Everyone's on Rogan's side, cheering for his comeback behind the scenes, The View's producers. And hosts are wondering, did they go too far? With all the support Rogan's getting, the audience is even turning on them. Fans who once cheered them on are now feeling embarrassed. This wasn't just a mistake, it was a turning point. The View's usual defense of "we're just talking" won't save them. You can't attack someone's integrity, call them a danger to the public, and then hide behind the coffee mug and say it's just opinions. It's reckless and it's dangerous. And here's the big twist. Rogan didn't just make a point with his lawsuit, he's changing the game. He's proving that there's a price for reckless commentary. The age of unchecked opinions? It's over. $100 million is the new price tag for lying about someone with this much power. Joe Rogan's putting every celebrity gossip show, every media outlet on notice. You can't just throw someone under the bus for fun anymore. There are consequences, and Joe Rogan just showed them how high the cost can go. So what do you think? Will The View backtrack and issue a real apology, or will they stick to their guns? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more juicy updates. See you in the next one. Music fades out.